Two tests, two realities, chaos, class, and cricketing contrasts. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Ionisms, a simple, slow burn, straight talk about movies, pets, geopolitics, and cricket. In this episode, I will talk about Ashes, England versus Australia series, especially the first test, Perth test, which got over in 2 days flat. And of course, the India versus South Africa series, which we are already 1-0 down. A lot has been spoken about these two matches, and we are already into the second test of the South Africa India series. But I'd like to kickstart this conversation about some of the observations and inferences from the Ashes test, which just got concluded in 2 days. Now, what is it that remains to be said that has not already been said and published, right? There are a couple of things, right? I'll not go through the entire numbers and statistical details and everything, but just some observations as a test cricket lover. First up, was it a fabulous pitch to bat on? No. Next, was it something that should have gotten concluded in 2 days? No. Did Australia play out of their skins? Something that I'm about to say that will perhaps not appeal to many people. No, I don't think so, and I'll explain why. Bear with me, hear me out. So let me break it down for you. What do I mean by this before you go absolutely bonkers on this? Like the Perth wicket, as we all know or have seen in the recent few years, it's always very hostile on day one, eases out towards end of day two and day three, and so one needs to plan their innings accordingly. So when the English won the toss and decided to bat, I think they missed a trick. See, at this level, skills are pretty much the same across teams, plus minus on paper. It's the mind that comes in between victory and defeat. So where English missed a trick was to identify uh, the strategy or plan that you already knew the syllabus, that the first 2 hours or even the first day was going to be terrible. So choice of shots application was the need of the hour. So they clearly missed that trick. And I don't know what they were trying to prove. And given that in that session, you know that Mitchell Stark is going to bowl full on your pads, on your legs. Typically, he's a far too experienced bowler, but typically they are at their highest enthusiasm, excitement, focus in the first few overs. So even if you scored 0 runs in, say, the first 5 overs and left and survived, it wouldn't be such a bad thing. In fact, it'd be a very good thing. So when I said that did Australia play out of their skins? No, they exactly played the same template that they have been doing all along. It's like you know what to expect. And so when you know what to expect, did they do anything out of the ordinary? No, they didn't. And so if you know the syllabus, why would you not then read and respond to the syllabus that was presented to you well in advance? So that's when I say that Australia need not have or did not play a game which is well above their par or standards, which they're probably capable of. So it's like a compliment, if you will. They played their regular cricket and normal cricket, and they got the desired result. So that's how they bundled out England in the first innings. Now, when they came to bat, they batted poorly. The ball was still doing fair bit in bounce, and they made some of the same mistakes that the English batters did. Now, the honors were even when they were dismissed cheaply. The whole trouble started in the third innings when the English batters came out to bat. Now, at this point in time, you ought to should have realized that, oops, I'm misreading the syllabus in the first innings. Now I need to read it well. I have to play for time because the pitch will ease up in a few hours' time. I need to survive till end of tea session on day two. perhaps, and then accelerate in the last session, and then make the most of it on day three early, and so on and so forth. They're already, what, 99 ahead, 100 ahead. All they needed was another 200. So 300, 350 would have been fairly decent to compete. I know people have this recency bias problem. So they thought so many wickets are tumbling, 19 wickets fell on one day. And so that will happen the second day as well, and that will happen on the third day as well. That is where they went wrong. And you often wonder why. Why is it that we are not, we are just fans from the outside? If we are able to read the situation, why is it that you are not able to read the situation when you are bang in the middle of it? That's something that baffles me. So I wonder why nobody in the English camp told or passed a message to, do you want to hang in there for some time? What is it, a statement that you want to make? Is victory more important, or making a statement more important? So I think they lost it in the mind in the second innings, and even then, when they were dismissed, and they had 200. When Mr. Travis Head came up to bat, they were put off very quickly. Skippers, and this is one thing I have for even some of our skippers, is like when there is a passage of play, when the opposition is doing very well, what are the three, four things that you're doing to shake things up? Now, I know in the post-match presser, Mr. Stokes did mention that we tried three, four plans, but it didn't work. To Mr. Travis said, as a avid watcher, I did not see three, four plans, to be honest. And I might have missed it. My bad. I did not see anything. Like, what could you have done differently? So if Travis Head was getting into a flow, the idea was to slow the game down. Slow the game down, take a break, regroup. You've done that before. Mr. Crawley took forever in the India-England series, if you remember. Probably bowl round the wicket. Probably Mr. Stokes could have brought on himself, because he has the ability to get into the beast mode. He did not, inexplicably, right? When the opposition is doing well, the skipper has to get in the ring and do something about it. Change the game, do something orthodox, change ends. I don't know, bowl one over only Yorkers, because at a chest height, that's not the delivery to bowl. And you can't say your bowlers were full of intensity the day before, and just one day later, 30 overs later, they're all flat. Cannot be, right? Test cricket is not just a test of mental resilience, it's the physical resilience as well. So you cannot come back and say my bowlers were tired and so they were bowling rank short balls, which Mr. Head was playing off very easily. You can't say that you got so rattled that you just didn't know what was going on. I mean, he did mention he was shell shocked and all that. I mean, like, you've seen so many T20s. You know, you could have picked up very quickly that they've gone into a T20 mindset, and his way is hit out or get out, right? There wasn't too much of it didn't need rocket science to be cracked for you to get that. So given that this was happening, what are the five things or four things that you did so dramatically different, so visibly different, that could upset the momentum, the tempo, the rhythm? When a player is in a zone, it's the rhythm that gets them going. And if you can break into that rhythm somewhere, somehow, that is one of the ways to give it a shot. I mean, they could have still won, in all fairness, but that's one of the ways to crack the game open. That did not happen, and like they say, rest is history. That Test century will go down in history as one of the best innings under pressure, under the pump, and performing when it matters. And that's what I would like to share with many of the other followers and fans of Indian cricket. I think as a sports lover, you want to score centuries, you want to take 5 wickets, you want to do everything, but you want to do it when it matters the most. And at least in case of Team India, most times we have faltered when it matters the most. One can argue what even when Team India plays, is there any match that doesn't matter? All matches matter. So to say that perform when it matters is probably a bit of a misnomer from an India team's context. But it still is something to think about. That who are the people who are raising their hands, playing to the situation, playing to the game. Go back to Mr. Rohit Sharma's pull at 45 at in deep square leg, when you know there is a fielder placed, when you know they're going to pull short. And yes, you can keep on saying that I will back myself to go over the top more than getting caught. But the point being, you have to also realize the situation of the match. You have to realize the situation of the game. And at that time, that shot was probably not on. You could have delayed that by a few hours or few overs and then probably revisit, because the opposition, if you're not feeding in to what they want, they will also make changes. So it's a cat and mouse game, and so you have to be ahead of that. And that's where somewhere I thought Mr. Sharma missed the trick, and I'm referring to the 2020 or the ODI World Cup final, right? But back to the Ashes test, this was a complete shellacking. It was absolute headbangers ball, if you will. And mental scarring remains for a while, but champion teams remind themselves that what has happened in the past has no bearing on the future. If Team England are able to truly believe that, then I'm guessing they'll bounce back by the third test. I don't see how they're going to win the next ping ball test, but if they do, it will completely reverse the momentum. That's how critical the second test is on 4th of December. That psychologically, when they're expected not to win, like at Perth, they were almost expected to win because Mr. Hazelwood, Mr. Cummins were not playing. It wasn't the best team, according to the English media, that was put on the park. It was the best shot Team England had to beat Team Australia, and they failed at that. Now, in the next test, when they are expected to not win, given the dominance, I think uh, Australia has probably lost just one test in the ping ball series. If they turn the tide there is no looking back for Team England. So it's a great opportunity. And these 10 days, 12 days break could just be the blessing in disguise. So mark my words, if they turn this around, then there is a high likelihood that the English could pull off a rare Ashes series victory in Australia. It's a bold prediction, but hey. But remember, not to belabor the point, Australia play very well. The standards are high, but they're not yet gone to their top tier game. And which is worrying for other teams, that if they even haven't gone full tilt or full stretch and they're playing so well, what is it that you need to do to make them do that? Things to think about. Next, let's move to the India South Africa test at Eden on a shockwave of a pitch, engineered, requested, designed, doctored, whatever you want to call it, from the Indian think tank. And then Mr. Gambhir, Coach Gambhir, has the gall to go up on stage and say, yep, that's the pitch we wanted. We got exactly what we wanted and we tanked if you couldn't bat on that. I mean, like, what are you trying to do? What point are you trying to prove? Um, I was totally not happy with all the sledging that was going on in between. And the low point was someone of the stature of Mr. Bumrah making a very a comment in very poor taste to Mr. Babuma, the opposition skipper. In sport, there is no space, no matter what you are, where you come from, who you are. You just fell down a couple of notches in respect for me. I respect Mr. Bumrah as a player, as a bowler, um, very highly. I rate him very highly. The fact that he himself doesn't sledge much, smiles, and just goes about doing his business, it was a shock. Probably leave it at that, saying that this is an aberration and a one-off brain fog moment and not something that is deliberate or using regularly. and just leave it at that. I hope never ever to hear something similar from him or anybody for that matter. Now, my respect for Mr. Babuma just went up like 5 notches by the way he conducted himself, his team, and the way they played, the gumption, the determination, the application. It's not always that you need to have a talent of Mr. Tendulkar or if you take South Africa's example of say Jaak Kallis or someone on those lines. You can have your talent and then make use of whatever is available. That is what where Mr. Bavuma did a fabulous job. So salute and claps to you. Great job done, Team Proteas, Team South Africa. You beat us fair and square. You beat Team India fair and square. The pitch was the same devious pitch for both the teams, and you made for a much stronger mental side than what Team India did. Now, coming to Mr. Gambhir, Coach Gambhir. Now, it's easy to blame Coach Gambhir for everything, and I'm just being the devil's advocate right now. It, what was the captain thinking? And this is where it worries me. Have we not coached, or have we thrust in Mr. Gill too early into the captaincy? And the maturity hasn't quite settled in. And therefore, you needed some seniors to be around. And so I still can't get over the fact that Mr. Virat Kohli thought to himself that he didn't have any more years left in Test cricket. I think he was done in T20. We probably were seeing that, and probably a few more in ODI, but Test cricket certainly. Yes, he was getting out. That is not to do with his ability. It is to do with his mentality, right? At some point, and one can argue, well, on form, he would have been probably left out because he was just repeating the same mistakes, as in getting out the same way for a very long period of time, and that is nothing but stubbornness and I don't know, ignorance or arrogance, whatever you want to call it. So on one hand, I do understand why he's not playing in tests anymore. On the other hand, I think you need the firepower, the presence of people like Mr. Kohli, the test arena, to fuel the team, to power the team. But a batter who's not doing well will also be relatively subdued, right? So it's in this case, Mr. Gill and Mr. Rahul, KL Rahul to consult, and probably Mr. Bumrah, but together I don't think they are still functioning as a cohesive unit, one unit. They've won some there. If you see the World Test Championship table, they're already at number 5, just above Pakistan. And if we are to lose the second test with South Africa, I suspect we will go below that. And that probably will, the last 15, 18 years, I don't think we have gone below 5, to the best of my knowledge. I might be wrong on that, but it's not the way in sport, there is a win, there is a loss. But how you lose also matters, right? Especially in Test cricket, no place to hide. And the way we have been losing is it's not that the opposition has played out of their skin and oh my God, of course, that innings was by Mr. Was out of played out of his skin, did a fabulous job. But in general, we have played poor cricket against New Zealand, hence we lost 3-0. We're already 1-0 down, and day two, 489 runs ahead, South Africa in Guwahati. They have, even if they draw this test, they have technically won the series. So it'll be a huge blow for India if we are not able to engineer a momentum and declare aggressively and then go for a wild chase in the fourth innings when the pitch is likely to deteriorate and they have the spinners to wreak havoc. And so the likelihood of a 2-0 loss is loading. And I don't know how Mr. Gambhir is going to respond to that. Not just Mr. Gambhir, the entire think tank. Like, what were you thinking? What were you working? What's your strategy? Why is it that you have the team that you have? Why is it that you pick players randomly? You brought in Mr. Nitish Reddy and he's just bowled what, 6 overs to the best of my knowledge. And I don't get it. Why is Mr. Sarfraz Khan not playing? Why is Mr. Shami not playing? Who's going to answer? Like, why is there never a proper response from BCCI or the coach or the skipper to just come clean? Like, you're not stupid people. Why don't you just come clean and say, here is why we are picking this team, or here's why we are not? I'm not asking you to respond to further queries and questions, but at least in the nation wants to know, because the majority of the nation follows the sport, and you have an accountability to the audience. Why so? Because it's our subscription money, our mobile bills, our data plans, our uh, tickets that we buy, which is what funds the BCCI, which is what pays you the money. So don't you think there is any accountability? And we're not even asking any deep dark details. It's glaring out there. Everyone's talking about it. Why would you not come out and just say, here's the thought process behind it? I mean, what's so secretive about it, anyways? What is the mechanism of hiring the team? What's the roadmap? What's so confidential about it in the first place? So, so I don't get the way Mr. Gambhir is functioning. Yes, he has led the team to a couple of IPL victories, but he's also left captaincy midway or coaching midway somewhere because he was not performing. And so I think if India were to lose this series with South Africa, it will necessitate a change. We need someone who's a little more stable. I think, I don't know if he can get back Mr. Dravid, but if he's not there, the next best alternative is Mr. Lakshman. And I do not know if Mr. Lakshman is a great communicator or a tactical genius that will do justice to coaching. See, coaching is not everybody's ball game. You might be a great individual contributor, a great player. That does not automatically make you a great coach. And so, could it again be a foreign coach? I don't know how the nationalist sentiments run in the BCCI or the team, but I would want the best person for the job, man or woman, as long as they help my country win. Like, that's what matters the most. And so let's wait and watch. I think where we are positioned at the end of day two, it's quite precarious. We're going to lose overs every day, and most likely this will end in a draw or perhaps India losing. I do not see how India is going to turn this around and win. If they do, is there a chance? Of course, there is a chance. If they do, then even then, the coaching will need to be relooked at. It's gotten to that stage. I'll leave it at that. I'll just conclude with a couple of side notes purely from a test cricketing venue. It is sad to see that two top sides are playing and the stadium is near empty. Like, probably talking about 10,000 people or thereabouts. How are people going to plan for tests? Why? What is the problem in having 5 fixed test centers? And it could go in clockwise manner. People could land in, say, Eden Gardens, go to Bangalore, go to Mumbai, go to Delhi, and then exit with one another test center somewhere. Hyderabad, maybe. I don't know. Whichever way, point is, if you make it as a practice that you go to England, there are the same grounds, Australia, same grounds, New Zealand, same grounds. Why is it that you, for test cricket, why don't you fix 5 grounds? What is the challenge in that is what I don't get it. Because you have enough ODIs and T20s for other regions to kick in. Right? Other regions can kick in on money, other states can make money. But if you fix 5 test centers, then the likelihood of packed houses is very high because people can plan this well in advance. Like, we have a World Cup coming up in 75 days. We don't even have the details. So if somebody want to book travel and plan, how do they do that? Right? So I don't know how BCCI is running. Why is it not being questioned? And if it's being questioned, why is it not being heard? I mean, I don't get it at all. And so somewhere they have to fall under the ambit of give me some information, give me some accountability. I don't know why that never happens. Love to hear your thoughts on this. That's all the content I had for this interesting uh, cricket scenario that we have had. If you're a true cricket lover and like this no frill straight talk, then please share with those who care for some similar content. The best way to follow me is to be on Twitter, platform X. I'm available on Ionisms. I extensively tweet during the matches, as if I can watch them, that is. So it's hashtag Ionisms, AAYANISMS. And of course, you can leave me a message here and subscribe to the channel if you so like. It's not a regular channel. It's not that I post every now and then, or rather, I post every now and then when something really stands out and makes an impact. And so the idea is to give you some quality content. I hope you found it like that. So until we meet the next time, my name is Ian, and you are listening to Ionisms. Peace out.